Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is the Ready, Set, Go preview show. This is the show that we do every single week, and I think we've been doing it for like 28, 29 weeks or something like that. And this is the show where I basically give you guys a heads up on everything that is going to be happening from my channel over the course of this week. We talk about some news, we talk about some current events. I give you guys a heads up on all the videos and podcasts and all that kind of stuff that is coming out from the channel. And then we also give away a cool slab and tee up the next slab that is going to be given out this coming week. So we have, I think, somewhat of a jam-packed agenda. I have a couple of shout outs that I want to do here for some folks. We have, of course, our regular news thing that we're going to get into. And I don't even know if it's really a news thing, but we are actually going to get into who could potentially be the next big bad. And I don't know if it'll be the big bad for the MCU, but it's interesting. The return of this character is actually pretty darn interesting. So we're going to get into that in just a couple of moments. I want to say hello to some comic book soldiers that have joined me here in the room. And there was a robust chat that was going on before I popped in here. So there's Kevin here. My man Matthew is in the house. Eddie's mullet is here. Eddie White is here. Super honorable nephew is in the house. Des Funko Pop and Comics is here. Harvey Abel will catch it on the replay. Walker is here. He says today is the day that he wins. Good luck to you, my friend. Tina's in the house. Azur is here. Daryl is here. It's good to see you, my friend. Johnny Future is in the house. How you doing, brother? Felix is here. Scrolling down through the names. Scrolling. Cuz Buzz. Rush, diehard, my Canadian brother is here. Scrolling through the comments, scrolling. Eternal Thunder is in the house. How you doing, my friend? Scrolling through the names here. There was a robust conversation. Carlos, how you doing, dude? It is good to see you. Kyler is in the house. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Can't Get Enough is here. Knights of Old is also here. One of the many Chris's is in the house. Chris, is good to see you. Steve S is here. Mr. Comics 89 has a couple of things he's going to be releasing from his channel, so you guys might want to check that out. This dude is on a tear. He is on a tear with some amazing Spider-Man, giving me a run for my money, so I definitely respect that. Gray is in the house. Clay is also here. Wilson Ramos is in the house. James Tomlinson is here. Just a Little Podcast. How you doing, brother? He sent me a message earlier today, saw a photo of me. He said, it's like looking in a mirror. And I said, that's what's up. Aaron, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Perry Comics is in the house with the wave. Jason is here. Hawaiian Punch in your face. Nathan McCall. We already said hello to Super Honorable Nephew, but let's throw him on screen because I forgot to actually do it. Modern Sage Comics is here. Connie is in the house. And I saw Tina here as well. I want to give a shout out to you guys because we are up to now 4.1% of the audience that is identifiable is female. So shout out to you guys. Travis, how you doing, brother? Beaver Pete is in the house. Sean is here. All right, enough of that. That is a heck of a run. I did a pretty good job. Let's say hello to Robert. Robert, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. All right, so there we go. Nice hello to some comic book soldiers that have joined me here in the room. I want to thank you guys for taking a little bit of time out of your respective weekends to actually join us here on the Regie Collect show, specifically the Ready, Set, Go preview show. So if you are watching this now in the room live, or if you are watching this on replay and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, shame on you. I want to encourage you to go ahead and do so. That way you can stay abreast of all the content that I release on a weekly basis. And it also allows you to be eligible for the giveaways that I do. So like I said, we have a lot of stuff we want to try to get to, but I have to give a couple of shout outs to a few people, specifically 3 people. I want to give a huge shout out to Comic Collector 21. Awesome dude. Awesome dude. He reached out to me a couple of weeks ago and he said, Reggie, you have some amazing content and I feel like you're missing an opportunity. And I was, of course, all ears. He says, you have great content that is not being seen or heard to some degree or another by a segment of the viewing population that is out there. And he basically volunteered to translate some of my videos into Spanish, so that we could make this content available to Spanish-speaking individuals. and both here in the US and elsewhere, right? He identified several videos that he thought was worthy of being converted over to Spanish because of the quality and of the content, right? And he translated them. He took a couple of days. He translated them. He sent me messages. He said it is done. He even went back and fixed some of the translations for people like Harvey Abel who read the transcripts online. He actually went back in and updated some of those things because the Google system didn't quite translate everything quite right. And so I have to give a huge shout out to Comic Collector 21 for being a stand-up guy. And for, again, I say it all the time. I have some of the best subscribers around. And this is just an example of a dude that was like, look, I have some free time. I think you're missing an opportunity. I can help. And he did it. And I want to shout him out. I'm actually going to use him some more because we translated 2 videos. It was 2 videos. And I think that there's several others that we probably should translate. But I think it's so important to take a moment to acknowledge those people that do really wonderful things for me and for, extension other people. So shout out to him. Huge shout out to my man, Matthew, who was here in the room. I met this kid at a con a couple of weeks ago, and someone sent me an AOK that was, intended to be passed back to the community. I sent some things to Matthew. This dude sent me a handwritten note. This dude's in high school. I'm gonna be honest. When I was in high school, I wasn't doing this. I was barely saying thank you. I'm gonna be honest with you, but he sent me a handwritten note to basically say thank you. He sent me a couple of really cool things. There's a sketch here and there's a sticker. So shout out to Matthew. Definitely appreciate you, brother. And again, for people that have worries that the younger generation is not interested in comics, this dude is picking up some awesome, amazing Spider-Man comics. I'll tell you that. It is quite impressive. And then what we'll do a little bit later in the show, I actually have an AOK here from Mushir that we are actually going to open up and take a look at a little bit later as we get a little bit into some of the agenda here. All right. So I did not see him. I think I heard that he was there, but I did not see him. Not at all. So, Collecto, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the live stream. Johnny Future in here showing out. Brother, don't have me reach out and ask you to translate the videos and you mess it up. Don't do that to me. All right. So I originally, and I think I told you guys this before, I intended to actually sit out to some degree or another Marvel Comics 100. And I actually I ordered one of the covers because the variant was really nice and it was a connecting cover and I wanted to get the other 2 connecting covers. So I needed all 3. So that's why I did it. And then when I was in the comic shop this weekend, I saw the book and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and get the regular cover. So I went ahead and picked up the regular cover for Marvel Comics 1000. And part of the reason why I was going to sit this one out was because I thought it was a little gimmicky. I felt like, Superman and Batman earned their 1000, right? They earned that 1000 issue through a lot of hard work and effort. And I felt like Marvel was stepping on DC's toes by basically saying, hey, we are going to release a 1000th issue as well to celebrate our 80th birthday. And I don't quite know how that makes sense, right? I don't get that one, right? So just on the face of it, I was a little turned off, but I was also intrigued, to be honest with you. I was intrigued because what they were attempting to do was to basically have 80 different teams, if I'm remembering correct. No, so there were 80 pages and there were supposed to be 80 teams, and each team was going to take 1 page of a comic and 1 page was going to represent 1 year. And so each creative team would have 1 page to represent 1 year in the history of Marvel Comics. And it was supposed to be a comprehensive story that was basically told across all of these creators over 80 years, over 80 pages. That was the vision. And so you kind of think about that and you're like, man, that's actually kind of deep, right? Because if you look at the list of characters or the list of creators, it is like a who's who of people that are still alive and that have touched Marvel over the years. And so I was intrigued. And so I picked it up and I read it last night, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. Johnny Future's like, is there going to be a 101? Oh, I mean, a 1001? Goodness, I hope not. Congratulations on that, Jason. Jason picked up the dope Ramos D23 variant, which is basically the first time Mickey Mouse and some of the Marvel characters have actually been together. It's actually pretty darn dope. So congratulations to you for that, my friend. So, So I picked it up and I read it, and it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. There were sections of it that were pretty good. There were sections of it that I kind of skimmed over where I was like, oh, that's boring. Oh, not interested in that. Oh, that artwork is awful, right? So I kind of worked my way through it. And there was this element of this thing. There was a story that wasn't really it was a comprehensive story that could have been told probably in like 10 pages, but they stretched it out over the course of like 80 and kind of sporadically interspersed it in there with some other things that were happening. And so they could have just taken that story, which was about this eternity mask, and just given me a 10-page or 16-page comic, and it would have been cool, because that was really the meat of what I was interested in reading, because that's also, again, part of what intrigued me. And so I'm not going to tell you guys the whole story of this thing. At least I'm going to attempt to avoid telling you the whole story of this. But I do want to touch on a couple of things here. So there is this mask, this eternity mask that is basically has somehow or another, right, been retconned into Marvel's history. And this mask is supposedly a part of the cosmic character known as Eternity. And Eternity is a super powerful character that's been around for quite some time. And in fact, I'll actually be releasing a video here at some point where I'm actually going to be talking about Eternity and some other cosmic characters. I'll basically be doing be remastering some content from the past that many people haven't seen. But basically, you can see here, they were basically showing this mask through time. And where the story kind of wrapped up is that there is a character that now has this eternity mask, right? This thing has been passed from person to person to person throughout time. And they basically reveal that there is a person out there right now that has this super powerful eternity mask that grants them all kinds of special powers. And so the character, you can see it here on the screen, is the Masked Raider. And, this guy has some 6-shooters and a 10-gallon hat, and he's wearing the eternity mask. It's a pretty dope mask. And again, I'm consolidating what was spread across 80 pages already into like basically three different slides. But this is what I'm thinking that they're about to do is I'm thinking that they're about to introduce this new character, this character I just showed you on the screen here, this raider with these guns and all this other kind of stuff. And so that was an interesting thing where they're kind of going back in time and bringing out, a guy with a 10-gallon hat and, 6-shooters. And so I'm thinking, and I haven't read the solicitations for like October and November, but there seems to be a new character that is going to pop up on the scene that is going to demonstrate some powers that we really haven't seen before, that are possibly of a cosmic nature. I'm not quite sure. The way that they were describing is that, if two people are equal, then this mask will give a person the ability to have the upper hand against someone that is basically maybe slightly better than them, or essentially they're equal. And so I need to read it one more time, but it's an interesting concept. And the real reason why I am glad that I did not skip reading Marvel Comics 1000 is honestly because of this page right here. This page right here is what's really powerful. So what they talked about was the X-Men. Basically, there's a group of scientists. There were 3 of them to start with, and then there ultimately, I think, were 4 of them. And these guys came together. They were scientists that came together that transformed themselves into the Enclave at one point in time. And the Enclave, if you remember, is the group of characters and the scientists that basically created Adam Warlock, which was supposed to be like this perfect man, if you will, that would lead us into the future. And we already know how that went. That kind of went awry. That didn't work out so well for these guys. And so some of them were killed off. Some of them were survived by wearing the mask or something like that. And they have come back together. And what they've done is they've created a new perfect man. And you can see here that it's actually Korvac. And they're saying Korvac is online. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Korvac, but Korvac has one of the craziest, possibly most convoluted origins stories in the history of anything that I've ever seen, to be honest with you. It is super, super convoluted. So hold on, let me pause real quick, say hello to a couple of people here. Bernard, the comic collector, how you doing? He says first time on the chat. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for the kind words, and I'm glad you were able to make it out here. Scrolling down through the comments here, Marvel 1000 hitting your dollar bins. Quite possibly, quite possibly. Daryl saying, you'd rather turn out if it was the Knight Rider. Well said. Here, Aaron actually enjoyed it. Aaron Finkelstein actually enjoyed it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it was a little hit and miss for me, but at the end of the day, I think we all have to, we all have to do what it is that that makes sense for us. So you're hilarious, Johnny Future. Scrolling down through the comments, and so here you go. This dude right here, this theory that I'm sharing right now is not my own. It is this dude right here. And I talked about you in a video that I'll be releasing soon. Omega Comics reached out to me. I don't know, brother. It was what, a year and a half ago or something like that. And this dude basically said, Reggie, I'm going to tell you who the next big bad is after Thanos. And this was like, Thanos hadn't even really done his thing yet, right? And Omega Comics was like, bro, I'm telling you right now that Korvac is the next big bad. And I'm like, so first of all, I need you to tell me who Korvac is and tell me how to spell that, because I've never heard that before. And Omega Comics sent me this book right here. This was a pretty dope book. This is What If the Avengers Had Become Pawns of Korvac. This was the book that Omega Comics sent to me, and I actually read, and I was like, oh my goodness, this dude Korvac is pretty darn dope. And his real name is Michael Korvac. And he has somewhat, in my opinion, of a very convoluted origin story. Like he was a human born on I think it was the blue side of the moon in an alternative reality. And he was grafted. He fell asleep while he was a slave and was grafted by his masters to a computer console, which essentially made him a cyborg. And then he was sucked into the Grand Master's battle and somehow became imbued with cosmic powers. I mean, and then the guy, like, he did away with his electronic components and just manifest his own body. It is a super complex, convoluted origin story. At the end of the day, there's a dude named Korvac that is super powerful, that has the ability to take on the Avengers and just mollywop them, right? So, I mean, that's how I'm choosing to look at it. And so we're actually going to pull up a page here. Omega Comics is like, Korvac is coming. Matt Forge, how you doing? It's good to see you, my friend. So Korvac might indeed actually be coming. King of the Golden State, I agree with you. Sounds like the Jim Carrey mask. Yeah, it could be. The Marvel Comics 1000 was a little bit of a stretch again. But again, I think that the real payoff was that last panel where we actually had a chance to see Michael Korvac. And I don't think that Korvac has actually been seen since like 1991, 92 or something like that, with the Korvac saga, which I think involved the Avengers. And so it's interesting that he has now returned to comics after having been away for so long. And again, it's one of those things of, is Marvel trying to signal something to us that something is going to happen? If you think about the one shot that actually happened with Wolverine and Blade, and then all of a sudden we had an announcement like a week and a half later that there was a new Blade movie. Things don't happen by accident, right? And so you have this 80th anniversary comic that comes out, and it has, basically a character that is being announced here that is going to be revealed in 2020. And you also then have a tie-in to Adam Warlock through this Enclave X-Men team of scientists. And now you have them basically taking responsibility for creating Korvac. And if you look at it, they actually streamlined big time his origin story, because his origin story is convoluted, but they have essentially streamlined his origin story. And so it is really, really interesting. And so the question becomes, could something be happening with this? Daryl is saying the Korvac saga was one of the best Avengers reads ever. Bought it off the rack in high school several decades ago. And so I think that people still think about the Korvac saga. I mean, again, I didn't know a thing about it till Omega Comics hit me to the game a little over a year ago. Eddie's saying, what's crazy is the Avengers never defeated him. Korvac basically decided to kill himself. And so again, super powerful character that is powerful on his own without a gauntlet of any sort, right? And so the question becomes, is Korvac going to be the next big bad that might be coming to the MCU? I don't know. It's really anyone's guess as to as to whether this could actually happen. The Almighty Liger King, it said Korvac sounds like a vacuum company. Well done, my friend. Oh, I didn't know that. Korvac will help beat Galactus. Oh, could be. You never know. So after Omega Comics sent me this book and I was so intrigued by Korvac, I actually went out and picked up this book right here. This is Giant Size Defenders #3. This is actually the, I think this is the first appearance. Yeah, the first appearance of Korvac. I went ahead and snatched this up probably over a year ago. I went ahead and grabbed this book, and I'm glad that I did. It's a square bound book that actually still is square. And it is, again, I'm definitely pleased that I picked this book up when I did. Who knows what's going to happen with any of this stuff? But again, I find it super interesting that Marvel has opted to actually introduce this character after so many years of this character actually not being around. And so I just wanted to show you guys really quickly. I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to see this. Here's the fandom page on Michael Korvac. He was born again in this Earth 691. Super convoluted origin story, right? You talk about the blue area of the moon, the Badoon, the Grand Master. I mean, this stuff is super, super complicated. And I think what Marvel has basically done is simplified his origin story by basically saying this group of scientists called the Enclave that created Adam Warlock also created this dude over here. Super cool way to do it. As you can see, this dude was born in 2977, originally half man, half sophisticated computer. Look at his stats. I mean, look at his stats. That's impressive. So again, who knows what's going to happen with this thing? It could be nothing. It could be something. At the end of the day, we will see how magic gets made with this one. All right. Korvac had a rough road. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Korvac is now in stores with the most powerful dirt suction available right next to your Dysons. Hopefully less expensive than a Dyson, because a Dyson is a super expensive vacuum. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Oh my goodness. Jess Pele says Marvel 1000 sold horribly for us and he was being very conservative, ordering only 50 copies. Yeah, when I was in the shop, man, there were probably maybe only 12 copies still on the shelf, but who knows? I'm not quite sure how many copies my shop ordered. But again, I felt like, and you probably did the right thing, I felt like it was a little gimmicky. And for those that don't know, Jess Pele is an awesome dude. He actually, I think he owns a comic book shop, and he gives some super practical advice and just context for things that are being debated and discussed. I'm very thankful for having him around. Jill is saying Korvac could be a good name for a hurricane too. You may be on to something. Oh no. See, now here, Omega Comics is mixing up the thing now. He's saying Kang has to come first, then Korvac, followed by Galactus. I don't have time for that, brother. I don't have time for that. I don't have the Kang first appearance yet. Okay. So I need Korvac to come, then we can go to Kang, then we can go to Galactus. Or just put Kang at the end. I put Kang at the end. I have the other two and we'll be good to go. Matt, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream. It's good to see you, my friend. You guys are hilarious. All right. So I'm scrolling down through the comments here, making sure. So C3 Comics is basically saying, I think it's because people view Marvel 1000 as a cash grab. That's why it's sold poorly. Could be. I personally saw it as a gimmick, as a cash grab, and I wasn't shy about saying it. And I picked it up and I read it. And, it was okay. It was an okay read, but I'm glad that I did at least get a copy because I was able to, come across this Korvac thing. And so I thought that was, if there was a redeeming value to it, would be, okay, maybe Korvac is coming. And now I have a topic for my Sunday show. And so that's kind of how I'm looking at that. Mike, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream. #GivingGang. It's good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the live stream. All right. So I'm scrolling through the comments here. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Korvac the magician. C3E is basically saying the LCS only bought 25 issues and there are still copies on the shelf. Yep. It happens. So, all right. You guys are hilarious. All right, so I'm going to do an unboxing a little bit later from my man Mushir. Mushir sent me an awesome AOK. At least he says it is. We're going to open this thing up. We're going to see what's inside. So we're going to do that in a couple of minutes. But before we get to any of that, I want to give you guys a heads up on some of the videos that are actually coming out from the channel this week. And I think that there's some good stuff. I think that there is honestly some good stuff that is coming out. One of the videos that I talked about last week that I was actually hoping to release to you guys, but didn't because I didn't finish editing it until the end of the week, which meant that I'm going to let it roll to next week, is a video on personal finances. A lot of people have asked me, how I manage some of my money, not my money per se, but how I manage this hobby from a financial perspective. And so I think I've put together, a pretty good video that kind of talks about some of the things that I do and some of the things that I try to avoid when it comes to engaging in this hobby, which we all know can be extremely expensive. Well, it depends on how you want to approach it. So I want to spend a little bit of time in a video talking about that. I have a video coming out. It's more of a vlog that is going to be talking about a troubling trend that I see when it comes to sellers. And this is not a criticism of sellers. It's more of an observation that I've made, and we'll see whether there is something to it, right? When you watch the video, you'll let me know whether you think that there is something there with this trend that at least I feel like I'm starting to see. And so I'm definitely looking forward to hearing people's feedback on that. Another question that I've received from people, and I've received this question a healthy number of times, is around printer defects. And so I'm going to be releasing a video this week where I'm actually going to be showing you some of the printer defects and talking about how those printer defects may affect the grades of your comics, and also to some degree or another, the desirability of comics. And so printer defects are something that can happen. It is pretty commonplace. And so we're going to be talking about that with some pretty solid examples that illustrate how printer defects may or may not affect grade. And then I'm also going to be doing a massive, it's like an AOK / haul all in one, because I was traveling. I think it was last week, some stuff kind of backed up on me in terms of AOKs, in terms of books that I had ordered. So I'm going to do like one massive video haul where I'm going to show you everything that came in, a couple of AOKs, couple of books that I ordered, couple of books that I picked up. So again, I think a healthy number of videos that are going to be coming out this week. There's one other video that I may drop in. I'm in the process of editing this video now, so I may drop it in. But I have some good stuff. I have some good stuff coming from you guys. So I may do 1 to 2 live shows this coming week. We're always going to do the Ready, Set, Go preview show because that's just on the agenda, but there may be 1 or 2 other live shows. I may even go live tomorrow because it is a holiday. So I may actually go live. And then I'm also going to be releasing 1 additional podcast this week. So huge shout out to everyone that's been listening to me on the podcast, whether it be Podbean or iTunes or Google Play. We are on all the podcasting services out there. Just upgraded the podcasting platform to the paid version because I ran out of space on the freebie. So I put my money where my mouth is and went ahead and paid that annual fee. So we are going to have hopefully an ample supply of videos and vlogs that are coming out. And what I am going to be doing, I'll tell you this, is that I have done some interviews with CGC that I haven't yet released on the podcast because they were like an hour long. They were pretty long, and I only had a limited amount of time in the free version, so I did not release those. But I'm actually hoping to release some of those CGC interviews for you guys pretty soon because I think that there are some substantive things in those interviews that folks may benefit from. So we're going to put those up on there. All right. King of the Golden State with the jokes. He says 1 to 2 live shows, you'll do 5. He's not lying. I will potentially do more than 1 or 2, but I like to say 1 or 2, and I like to over deliver, under promise. That's how we're going to roll. Awesome. Well done, sir. And then, and we talked about the podcast, so that's going to be coming. All right. So a lot of content that is going to be coming out. So stay tuned. All videos are released at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. So stay tuned for that. All right. So now it is time for our giveaway. Here we go. Here we go. This is the giveaway. This is the book right here. It is Hero for Hire #1. This is a 5.5 awesome book that is going to be given away to one lucky subscriber right now. Daryl's asking if I have date stamps on all his books. Think it'll become a pedigree. So here's the thing about a pedigree, Daryl. You can actually write your name on those comics, and then that collection will be named after you. So you can just go ahead and throw Daryl on there or DD or something like that, and you can still get a pedigree, my man. So there you go. Yep, I remember that. All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and give this book away. And so to one lucky subscriber, and you definitely want to stay tuned because I'm actually going to be showing you guys the next book that is going to be given away this coming week. It's a pretty dope book. I'm going to just be honest with you. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of the individuals that are actually in the running for this week's giveaway. And I can't remember. I want to say there were like over 200 people that were able to enter this week's giveaway. So here is the list of individuals. And this list was actually posted up earlier this morning for people to be able to peruse to make sure that their names were actually on there. And there were a couple of people that weren't on the list because they answered incorrectly. And a couple of people emailed me and we had a conversation about some of that stuff. So I think people definitely get it. But this is the list. The list gets shut down every Sunday morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. The list gets shut down and then we declare the winner at around 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. So that is the list of individuals. And so we are going to get ready to roll our dice to find out how many times we are going to have to randomize this list. And then we are going to give away this book. And just as a reminder, if you are indeed deemed the winner this week of the GoCollect giveaway, you have to send me an email to regiecollects@gmail.com. REGIE collects.com. I'm sorry, regiecollects@gmail.com. Send me an email there with your government name, your screen name, your mailing address, and then your preference for either a t-shirt or a stylist. The t-shirts only come in large and extra large. So if you can't fit either one of those, you can get the stylist, and then you'll also get an awesome variant comic from GoCollect. So we're going to randomize this list a total of 4 times, and then we are going to declare the winner. So bear with me as I pop this thing open, and we are going to get ready to randomize our list. All right, so I'm going to scroll down here. That is 1, scrolling. There is 2, scrolling. There is 3, 4, we are halfway there. 5, 6, 7, and the winner of the GoCollect giveaway of an awesome Hero for Hire #1 is Aaron Finkelstein. Aaron Finkelstein, who just commented a few moments ago that he actually loves the Marvel Comics 1000. It is interesting how karma works, my friend. Congratulations to you, Aaron Finkelstein. Send me an email to regiecollects@gmail.com, letting me know whether you want a large or an extra large shirt or the stylist. And then I'm going to bundle up this awesome Hero for Hire #1 5.5 along with this GoCollect exclusive variant for you, my friend, and this will get sent out to you ASAP. I'm going to be headed to the to post office first thing tomorrow to drop these things in the mail. Wait, the first thing my wife will do on Tuesday when the post office is open is mail your book out to you, and it should arrive in a timely fashion because we are going to be sending it priority mail because that is the best way to mail things out. I may actually do a video on how to properly mail things. So you guys should stay tuned for that because I've heard people kind of talk about that from time to time. So I may actually do that and put together a video just kind of sharing some additional tips and techniques for actually mailing comics. So I want to show you guys, I want to show you the book that is going to be given away this coming week. And then we're going to go over to GoCollect and we're going to look up the price of this book because we try to maintain an FMV for these books somewhere between $150 and $250. And I sometimes go a little over, sometimes a little under, depending upon what's going on and what I see out there. But this book, when it showed up, I showed my wife and I said, I wish I could keep this book. And she said, well, why do you have it if you're not going to keep it? And I said, babe, this is one of the books I'll be giving away. She just kind of looked at me. And it was that look of, why don't you just buy one for yourself when you buy them to give them away? That is you guys, if you're married, you know the look that comes from your significant other where they're like, really, just do it. And so I think that this is a pretty awesome book right here. It is Flash number 139. Flash 139. This is the first appearance of the Reverse Flash, and it is a 3.0. I think this book is pretty cool. And so it is a thin book. It's been a long time since I've held one of these old cases. It feels so thin, but it is a nice copy of Flash 139, the first appearance of the Reverse Flash. I'll tell you that the page color is definitely off on this book. It is light tan to off-white pages, but it was also from 1963, right? So, I mean, let's take it with a grain of salt, but I think that this is a pretty cool book, a little bit of Reverse Flash action there. This is the book that is going to be given away this week. And just as a reminder, the way that you win this book is that you basically listen to the videos that come out from the channel Monday through Friday, always at 3:30. And you listen for, in one of those videos, I'm actually going to give you a phrase. And I'm basically going to say, if you are interested in winning this book, write down this phrase. And all you have to do is to capture that phrase. You head over to the community tab. You find the post, and the post is already up. It's right at the very top. The post is up there. You find the post, you click the link, you go to MailChimp, you enter 3 pieces of information. 2 of them are related to you, and one of them is the phrase that I will give you in one of the videos that will be coming out tomorrow through Friday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. It's really straightforward to be able to enter the contest. And certainly if anyone has any challenges, reach out to me. Or if you don't know where the community tab is, if you search for Regie Collects community tab, I created a video that actually shows you where the community tab is. If you are on an iPad, you will not be able to access the community tab because Apple does not like, it doesn't work. Apple just does not work on the community tab for some crazy reason. So let's head over here. This is the GoCollect homepage, GoCollect.com. And I'm actually going to search for this comic. This is Flash 139. We're going to hit the search button. And then if you click up here at the title 139, I wish I had the 9.8. Goodness gracious, look at that. So this is a 3.0. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to find the 3.0. We can see that this book has an FMV of $240. And you can see some of the recent sales of 204, 114. Someone got a smoking deal. 208, 268. $224, $200. Those are some of the most recent sales for a 3.0. And again, we try to keep our prices for the FMV somewhere between 150 and 250. And this one was definitely at the upper limit of that, but it was definitely a cool book. I would have loved to get a 3.5 because I did see one of those, but you can kind of see what the prices are doing up there. Now that would break the budget. That would ruin the budget for everyone. But that is the book that is going to be given away. Let's look at Hero for Hire. Let's see what that one was because I can't remember what this one was. And again, a huge shout out to the guys over at GoCollect for putting us in a position where we can actually give away these awesome books every single week. And so here's the Hero for Hire that we just gave away. The 5.5 had an FMV of $160. You can click this link and you can actually see what some of the most recent sales for this particular book happen to be. You can see a couple of 199s, 156, 142, 165. So again, pretty awesome books. And I'm very appreciative of the relationship that I have with GoCollect because they've been rolling with me now for 28 weeks, and we've been giving away a slab basically a week for that many weeks. And it's a great partnership, and I definitely appreciate the support that these guys give us to put us in a position to be able to give away some cool stuff, so huge shout out to those guys. So there you go. Some Oh, making comments like flip that book. Scrolling down to the Tina's like, thank you, GoCollect. Huge shout out to these guys because they hook it up every single week. And I definitely appreciate these guys. Did I buy a new book? I bought a book that is going to be coming in that I'm probably going to be giving away on the channel. I'm still debating whether I want to give it away or not. We'll see. I may end up keeping it for the personal collection because it's actually a pretty cool book, but we'll see. So as promised, I received a package from Mushir, and we're going to try to open this thing up. I've already kind of unwrapped it a little bit to get it going. And I'm gonna hold on one sec. All right, so here, let me remove that off the screen. What does that say? Let me scroll down through some of the comments. So, that Reverse Flash, I think, is definitely a pretty cool book. Nathan McCall says, Flash sucks, a poor man's Quicksilver. Eternal Thunder, I hope that you do win, man. And I think that's one of the cool things, man, about this is that we do this every single week. We give away cool books, at least one book every single week. And all you have to do is really be a subscriber and watch the videos. I mean, it's pretty, I think it's pretty awesome, you know, and I think it's a nice way. Oh, that's cool. It's a nice way to kind of give back, I think, to the comic book community as far as like GoCollect is concerned. And it's also just a fun thing for me to be able to do. And I'll tell you, this is a pretty nice book. We are getting close to 5,000 subs, and there is a comic shop in Stockton that has promised to actually give us a nice book to give away to the comic book community. And I actually sent them a message earlier today, and my message to them was, get ready. That was my message. And there was an image, and the image was basically of my landing page for the channel, which basically showed that we are sitting at 4,753 subs. And I'm like, get ready, because I want that book so that I can give it away. So Mushir actually sent over there. I think there's two books here. And this one says Consolation A-OK because of your annual hunt. And this is Amazing Spider-Man number 25. This is a cool blue cover but my man Eric Larson, who I'm a big fan of. This takes me right back to the 90s. This is a pretty cool blue cover right here. And Mushir actually sent this over to me. And if you guys if you don't follow me on Instagram, check it out, because no, never mind. So that is definitely a cool book. I dig that cover. I do dig this cover. And this one says, from a special guy, me, of course, but there's more. This is him signing this thing, and it's double-sided. I think that's, oh, here we go. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so he says, hoping this small token of appreciation and video is worthy of adding to your collection. This came from Terrific Con 2019, your friendly neighborhood East Coast comic collector, and he signed it down at the bottom. And I think the video that he's referring to is he captured footage of Mark Bagley at a con sending me a message. And so if you haven't seen this video on Instagram, you might want to go check it out, because it is hilarious. Mark Bagley calls me a name, and I'm not a fan of that, but it's Mark Bagley. And so you move on, right? What is this book? What is this? Oh, wow. Okay. So it's a blank sketch variant. It is a blank sketch variant. It is actually a really clean blank sketch variant of Amazing Spider-Man #1. Really cool book right there. And he has signed it on the front there. Sorry for the second G, I suck. Oh my goodness. That's Mark Bagley. I think that's Mark Bagley's signature. That's cool. That is cool. I believe that is Mark Bagley's signature. It's been a long time since I've seen his signature, but it says, sorry for the second G, I suck, to Regie. And I think that's Bagley. I think that's what that says. So shout out to Mushir for hooking me up. That is dope right there. That is cool. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. The light right in front is making it really hard, but that is from him. That is really cool. I appreciate that. That is a cool gift. And I say it all the time. I have some great subscribers out there, and there's some examples of it right there. Starting with Matt with the handwritten note, my man, Comic Collector 21 for doing the translation for me earlier with the Spanish translation. So shout out to him, and with Mushir here at the end, hooking me up with a cool blank sketch variant signed by himself and Bagley. So huge shout out to you guys. So is he here in the room? Because you spelled his name correctly. Well done on that. I'm wondering, is he in the room? He is. He is here. There he is right there. Huge shout out to you, bro. I definitely appreciate it. That's cool. That's cool. I appreciate that. Scrolling through the comments here. Here we have a comment here from Comic Book 62 talking about the Gaines pedigree. I saw your comment earlier today, so thank you for that. He is correcting me. I think it's him. They are correcting me on. I think I said in one of the previous videos, which I was doing on the fly, that it was the name of the Gainesville collection was named after the location, and I'm being corrected here that it's actually named after, I think, the owner, the guy that owned EC Comics. And so definitely want to allow that correction to be heard by people, because mistakes are made. So there we go. Thank you for that, brother. I definitely appreciate that. Scrolling through some of the comments here. There was a video Reggie was supposed to watch at the same time after you open the package. We'll get it right one day. Impossible. Never going to happen. It's never going to happen that we're going to get it right. I'm telling you right now, it's never going to happen because something always comes up. But I do appreciate it, my friend. That was a wonderful gesture, and I absolutely appreciate it. So scrolling through some of the comments here, here Reggie should some of the milestone books. It was a DC imprint in the 90s that was introduced more minority heroes. Yeah, actually, I had that book. I had the Static Shock #1, and there was another character. I can't remember. I actually sold those books a couple of years ago. I picked them up as part of a collection, and I want to say the Static Shock was actually still polybagged at the time, but I ended up moving that to someone else. That definitely appreciated it, I do believe. All right, so scrolling down through some of the comments here, making sure that we kind of cover off on everything. I'm gonna tell you, mistakes happen. If your timing with me is tough, because there are so many moving parts in life, that I like to honor people's requests, but stuff happens, and I think everybody gets that. I think everybody gets that, so it's all good. So thank you, brother. I think you're talking about me. I try. Oh, is that your thumbnail? That is Alpha Flight. Which issue is that? I have that book. I picked that up at Purple Turtle Comics a couple of months ago. I can't remember which, maybe 12, maybe Alpha Flight 12 or 3. No, it can't be 3. I love that cover. Definitely a cool cover. So I'm scrolling through the comments here, making sure I covered off on everything. Bearded Comic Collector giving a shout out to Mushir. Well done. Anyone here that Wolverine versus the Hulk MCU project? I hope so. Oh my goodness, please let this happen. I don't know if you guys know this. So Matt Ford just saying, anyone hear about the Wolverine versus Hulk MCU project that is rumored? I hope so. And I hope so because behind the scenes, I have been collecting all of the Wolverine Hulk fight scenes. I love that. That is a classic battle to me. And one of the most classic is the Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk series that was in the Ultimate Universe, when Hulk rips Wolverine in half and throws his legs on top of a mountain. That is by far one of my favorite comics. I think I own like 3 or 4 copies of that comic and all of the variants, because there was a couple of variants. It was like a black and white variant. There was a regular variant. Then I want to say that there was a partial color one. I think I own all of those variants because I love that. So fingers crossed that they actually make some magic happen with that one, because that would be cool. So Hulk 181 reached crazy numbers beyond what it is now. Yeah, the numbers that don't even make sense, right? Because as many of them that are actually on the census, it doesn't make sense, but I'm definitely benefiting from it, right? Will handwritten notes on the back of old books affect CGC grades? No, it does not. Not sure why some books have had them. So back in the day, what they used to do is when books were being distributed, sometimes at the newsstands, they would actually just put a notation on the comic of when, like, I guess maybe the comic maybe came into the newsstand, because it's at certain points they were able to return comics, right? And so I think they used to just kind of write on there if there was a discounted price, they would jot that down, or if it was the distributor or the newsstand owner taking note of when the periodical, because that's what it was a periodical, came in, and that way they could actually return it to get their credit. So CGC actually does not ding comics for things like handwritten dates or even stamps that are placed on comics, because they recognize that that was part of the distribution channel back in the day. And so the video that I'm going to be releasing a little bit later this week is actually going to be talking about some of those other kinds of defects, because I mean, that's kind of sort of a defect that could potentially affect the grade. The video is not an exhaustive video, but it does include, I think, some common printer, distributor, production defects. And so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. And if there is an appetite, I will actually do a little bit more. I'll do another one where I'll actually include some additional tidbits like what is being asked about here. Johnny Future says, do you think they will ever find a Stan Lee pedigree locked away in a vault? I don't know. You would imagine that Stan put some stuff to the side. You would imagine that he has some stuff out there. It's tough with, especially with how things were handled later in life. You just never know where that stuff might be, you know? But yeah, there very well could be an amazing pedigree somewhere out there. And it would probably be incredible if you think back to Stan's history all the way back to, what was it, like Destructor was one of his early creations, if memory serves. And if I got it wrong, I apologize for that, but a long history in comics. And so, I would love to get access to that vault. I would love to get that one. Harry Darrell's like, yep, why not? Johnny Future will probably be tied up in legal battles for years. Well said, brother, which is the point that I was just making right there. So you need to get a Hulk for the Pit. Pitt is the man. I was in a comic shop this weekend and someone actually had the Pit toy. And I saw it and I grabbed it and I started playing with it. I've never seen a Pit toy before. And this one like had opposable everything. He had joints everywhere. And then the comic shop owner's girlfriend was like, that's mine. And I was like, cool, but I'm gonna still play with it. And she was like, and it comes with Timmy. No, she says it comes with the little boy. And I was like, you had Timmy? She runs over, reaches in the box, pulls out Timmy. It was Pit and Timmy. I went to go put it back, saw that they had another Pit in the box, and I kind of was reaching for it, and they were like, we don't have Timmy. And we only have one Timmy. So I did not get Pit. But I did not know the two of them faced off. Part of the reason why I like Pit was because I think it was Dale Keown that was working on Pit back in the 90s. He transitioned over to Pit and he drew Pit, and I loved his artwork. And so that's part of the reason why I really dig Pit. I actually went back and read it a couple of weeks ago and definitely enjoyed it. So Brothers Grimm is talking about date stamps. Sign me up. Sign me up for that. I actually didn't have very many books with date stamps up until like recently. Then with a lot of my low number Amazing Spider-Mans, I noticed that they actually have handwritten date stamps, and I love it. I think it is a piece of history that has to be treasured and acknowledged for what it is. And so I definitely dig that. So scrolling down through some of the comments here, scrolling through. Matt Ford says, Reggie's eyes lit up when he read that question about Wolverine versus Hulk. Oh man, there are some topics, man, that are like near and dear to my heart. And there are some that I'm kind of like, but occasionally a question or topic comes up that I can really just dig. Reggie actually has a Hulk versus Pit comic on the way. Oh, shut up. Did you really? Don't tease me. Don't tease me, bro. Scrolling down a few years ago, Stan sold some of his own books from his collection. Wow. A few years ago, he stole them. Wow. That's man, I wonder why. I mean, he was charging $140, $125 for signatures, and he got a couple of my bucks. I'll tell you that. And I don't regret it. Don't regret it at all. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Tim and Lassie, you guys are sick. Yep, I would agree. Super Honorable Nephew knows what I'm talking about. Super dope comic. All right, with that, guys, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit. Like I said, there is a lot of content that is going to be coming out from the channel this week. The content that was released last week, I think you guys enjoyed it. I felt like last week was one of my best weeks in terms of content. I feel very good about the quality of the videos that were coming out, but more importantly, it was the engagement that you guys had with the content that made me feel good about it. And so I'm hopeful that with some of the videos that are actually coming out this week, I'm hoping that these topics will resonate with you guys. At least that's my hope, and that you guys engage with the content, watch the content, engage with the content, leave those comments behind, and we'll have the good conversation. And then, like I said, I'll be going live at least 5 times this week. So I hope that you guys will join me for some conversations. Who knows what we're going to talk about? I honestly sometimes don't really have a clue what we're going to talk about until it hits me, and then I'm on the camera and we are engaged. But if you guys get a chance, check out Korvac. Korvac might just be the next big bad that comes after Thanos. Who knows what's going to happen? But at a minimum, you can get a chance to read a super convoluted origin story if you pick up some of his stuff. This is the book that is going to be given away. Huge shout out to the guys at GoCollect that put us in a position to be able to give away these books every single week. In this book, it is Flash 139, the Reverse Flash first appearance. All you have to do is stay tuned for the videos that come out this week. Watch those videos, catch the phrase, and then enter the contest. And if you have questions about that, send me a message, or you can go back and watch the beginning of this video where I go through all the details. Either way, I am happy to help. And if you guys need me, feel free to reach out to me at Regie Collects on Instagram, which is my preferred, or regiecollects@gmail.com. Take care, everyone.